You're 100% correct, but that's an area where, as a staff, we're not good. This podcast is intended solely for educational and discussion purposes. The content shared within this program is not meant to embarrass, criticize, or humiliate any official, coach, team, conference, or fan. Our goal is to educate, inform, and promote a deeper understanding of the art and the profession of officiating, providing insight that benefits all who love and support the game. Well, again, how about this? Welcome to The Play is the Play. This is our episode 3, and I am honored to have, obviously, I think I have a lot of girls, but another one of my best of the best. I have Miss Julie Kromenhoek, and I call her Jules. You can't call her that, but I can. She's here with us, and her and I are going to, we're going to do The Play is the Play, but we're also, her expertise in our craft is fitness and good habits. I can honestly say that she's given me tons of programs and menus to kind of keep me on track, to make sure that I look good when I'm up in front of the room. So those are the things that we're going to kind of break down. But she's been with me since I started. I think Julie has been with us for about 18 years and been officiating, and just so honored and proud to have her leadership, her guidance, her mentorship is just incredible. So we're going to have a fun episode, and I look forward to it. All right, everybody. This is our Keepin It Real segment of The Play is the Play. And I'm going to have Miss Julie Kromenhoek. Her and I are going to have a very, very candid discussion, when it comes to fitness and taking care of your body and stretching and strength training and eating right. She is the expert. So I want to say welcome, Jules, to the show. Thank you so much. And kind of open it up and just tell us about your program and what you do.
Okay, well, thank you for having me. I love being on your show, and I love talking fitness stuff. It is my passion. And as you know, as referees, it is a grind, right? We have long travel days. We're sitting on airplanes. We're sitting in cars. We get to the gym, we're sitting, and then we're expected to get up and run on the court and keep up with these 20-something-year-olds. And not only physically do we got to do that, we mentally need to be on point. We have to be focused. We can't take a second off. And so if we're lacking in any of those ways, it affects our performance. And that can lead to you not being able to referee as long as you want because of injuries, because of poor performance. And so when you just look at that, it just proves my point that, being physically fit will help your performance. So my aha moment, I want to share a quick story, is so in college, VP, this, when you played, you'd always go play in the little auxiliary gyms, after the season. And there are all these professors that played at lunchtime. So we went in and played after them one day. And this one professor came up to me. I was probably my freshman or sophomore year. And he comes over and he says, "Hey, you just wait. There's going to be a day where your mind wants to go get the ball, but your body won't follow." And I thought,
Preach.
What you talking about, dude? I don't know what you're talking about. Get off the course so we can play. Well, years later, I'm playing ball with my kids. And I was in my 40s. And the ball's over there. I go to get it. And in my mind, I had the ball. I beat my kid. But my body was in the same place. And
you never moved.
Yes. I was just like, oh my gosh, my body's not going. And that, I went back in time to that moment in the gym at the University of Utah with that professor telling me that, and thought, wow, this is what he's talking about. And that was my pivot that, okay, I'm getting older, things are different, body's responding differently, and I need to train smarter and not harder. And that changed my focus in my training. As you know, I had a gym in Arizona, and my clients were awesome. They would do everything I asked, and they were like hardcore. But as I started to feel my body break down, I'm like, they are too. They're my age. So I changed. I'm like, okay, we need to add in mobility stuff and recovery stuff, along with pushing yourself. There's a really good balance to that. And so that is where my focus has been probably the last, 6, 7 years, because I see the importance of doing that.
Mhm,
And
mhm.
and so, you know, VP, with you, with your officiating and everything. I mean, I want to ask, as you continue to go in your career, and you were an amazing basketball player as well, athlete, and I'm curious as to kind of how you pivoted and transitioned to be able to increase your longevity.
Let me start off by saying this. I wish I would have taken better care of my body when I was young in my career, because when I was young and I was a collegiate referee and then I got in the NBA, nothing was bothering me. So, they would come in after the game and they say, anybody want ice packs? And I'm ice packs? No, because I didn't need them. I didn't feel like I didn't need them. But you know what? Hindsight is incredible, because back then I should have been icing my knees after every game, stretching, doing all those little bitty things. Of course, I would get massages and I would, get on the foam roller, but it wasn't in the manner in which I really needed to, until my knees started bothering me and I started having injuries. Then I really start taking it serious. And then in the summer, I would have to go to PT. I would go physical therapy 3 times a week, all summer, to kind of prepare myself. Because one thing I can tell you, and I say this to women who want to work on the professional level, those games are long. They're much longer than the collegiate game, and that 24-second shot clock will eat your body alive. It'll just
Yeah,
eat it up. So I think for me, you know what? Yes, I had an amazing career. Do I kind of think I was cut down a little short? But again, things happen the way they're supposed to, and you don't cry over spoiled milk. Um,
right.
Great thing was I had a great transition into doing what I'm doing now, and I am more fulfilled in my officiating career than I have ever been. So,
Yes,
it turned out okay for me, but I
right,
really truly believe that if I would have done just a couple of things early in my young career, possibly I would have I would be still able to officiate now. And now that you say stories, I have a real quick one. And I'll never
okay,
forget,
let's
it was
hear it.
probably my fifth year in the NBA. And I was working with the great Steve Javy. And him and I, we were had dinner, had great bottle of wine, and Steve he says, Violet, so tell me. He said, you're in the playoffs now. It was playoff game. And he said, are you still working at the Drew League and working all the summer league games in LA? And I said, oh man, yeah, I gotta work on my craft. You know what he told me, Jules? He said,
But
you need to stop. He
mm,
said, you don't have to do that anymore. He said, I'm not saying don't study, don't watch tape, don't have your discussions, don't be clinicians. He says, but the physical running, that wear and tear is going to beat you up.
yeah,
And at this point, because you're refereeing for your livelihood, it's about longevity. So again, I can go back to me saying to you when I first started that when I was young, I could have did a couple of things better that I've learned from you, um, that possibly could have given me another 5 years versus
right,
just working 20 in the NBA. Maybe I could have worked 25. You never
right,
know. I mean, maybe not, but you know, hindsight is everything. So I think
right,
when you say what you say, I am one person that truly believes and know exactly what you're talking about because I've
right.
experienced
Yeah, you make some great points. And, some things that stood out to me in what you said were, we don't deal with an issue until we have it. We're not
it. Right.
doing the prep stuff to prepare for that, right? So it's like, oh, my
Mhm.
knee's all of a sudden hurting. Oh, now I'm going to take ice baths. Now I'm going to, do my little exercises. And I mean, how much further ahead could we be if we did it before? My one
Oh,
thing I just, yeah, one thing I just love is, when we have issues in our body, say your knee hurts. it's not the knee that's the issue, right? It's like,
Mhm.
where is that pain coming from, right? Is it the tight hips? Is it, your ankle mobility? And so that's like one area that I just love to dissect and be a detective and get into and say, okay, what is causing this? And one of the
Mhm.
main areas of our body that causes so many of our issues, probably 90 plus issues from a referee standpoint, because of just we're active people, but we're
Mhm.
also sedentary because we're sitting a lot, right? And
Mhm.
and so the hips, the hip region, it connects your upper and lower body. That has to be mobile. You have to be able to,
Wow.
your body has to be able to move right. And so, for example, if your, muscles like on your inner legs, your internal, muscles are not working, then your body's gonna compensate, and all of a sudden you're gonna
Right.
start feeling knee pain, low back pain, all that stuff. And so it's really, as you know me, VP, I'm very simple, keep it simple person. And it is, again, going back to our athlete days, if we used to feel like we had to push ourselves 100%, kill ourselves, sweat, all this stuff in the gym, go for hours. Now
And you
it's
don't
like, no,
anymore, which is crazy.
no,
You
it,
don't, you know, and literally when you just said that, and it just brings flashbacks to, I was in the league, and Julie, I used to go see my trainer 4 times a week. Benny and I, because Benny and I, we worked out together, and we're at the park, and I mean, we're grinding, I mean, we are grinding, doing everything, and then I figure it out after starting physical therapy. I'm like, I don't. I don't have to kill myself, but you can
right,
still, it's the type of exercises, it's working on specific areas that are
yeah,
tight. And the other thing that I learned, and I think in which you'll probably get into, is that, you know, officials stop start. We run looking over, we run in an awkward position. It's not normal. And no,
yep,
and again, having back issues, having hip issues,
yep,
you nailed it on the head, because we do crazy things out there on the floor
right,
that a normal basketball player don't have to do. But it's a
exactly.
part of
Great.
officiating.
Yes, and our training needs to mimic that. It's just like, basketball players, their training needs to mimic their patterns, their movements. It's all, I
Hmm.
focus on the patterns we do. Like, what is our movement pattern, right? And how can we best duplicate that in our training, and what muscles are being used and which ones are not, that we need to work on because there may not be, used as much. Like, I see these athletes who specialize in one sport. And the problem
Hmm.
with that, and I know I loved growing up playing every sport every season, but all of
I
my
did too.
muscles, right. And so we were pretty healthy because everything was being worked sometime during the year. Now, these
Hmm.
athletes, it's hard to go to a game and not see anyone with knee braces, tapes, stuff like that, because they're just overuse.
And they're getting
So
younger and younger. How about that?
exactly
They're young. We see all these AAU kids play, and they got on sleeves
right.
and ankle braces, and I'm like, how about this, Julie? We never wore anything when we were coming up.
Exactly. You're right. You're right. I think that every time I go on the court and I'm like, oh my gosh, look at all these players. It's crazy. It is
Yeah.
crazy. And so, for me, like looking at the big picture, going through what I have been through, like, we clearly need our cardio, our strength training, but there's also different times in the season where you do different things. And that's one thing that I focus on, is like, okay, off season, we can go a little bit harder, we can do things, but we're always adding in little mobility stuff. And then I
Right.
just actually I have this functional movement screen that I do with people to help. It's like taking them through some little exercises, and I rank them 1 to 3, and then I find out where their weaknesses are. And so
Oh,
based
wow.
on that, I can say, okay, like this person who I just did, they are more, they shift their weight more to their right side. So a lot of things
Mm.
are more right dominant. And the interesting thing is, this person had a lot of inactive muscles firing on their left side, which
I can
they were
believe
seeing
it. Right.
chiropractor. And so they found that out, they were going for that. But then as soon as we did this test, I'm like, oh my gosh, see, it comes together. Like, the
Oh,
reason this is
wow.
happening. So that now gives us a specific thing and exercises, a specific focus, and then specific exercises to incorporate into their preseason schedule of getting ready, cardio, strength training, but we add in some different little mobility and corrective exercises to help strengthen it so that your body becomes whole.
Beautiful. Wow. And see how you just pinpointed one little bitty thing that can help an official in a it's almost like it's in a small way, but it's really big.
Yeah,
Because if you can pinpoint where you're having difficulty,
right.
that's half our battle. A
It's
lot of
huge.
times we don't even know. Like you said, it's like most people when your knees start hurting, everybody think it's your knee and it's something else making the knee hurt. You're not
Right.
stretching, something's not your quads are not firing. Your
Right.
IT band is too tight. Why
Yep.
do I know these things? Because I've experienced all of it. But
Right.
even with that, Jules, what about, strength training? What about eating better? We're on the road. We can't, you one thing, you had all those healthy snacks in your bag. You're real good with those little bitty things as well. So talk a little bit about those things within the program with what can help officials as well.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, good point. Eating stuff. Eating is all about being prepared.
Mm,
When I leave my house, I like to make us some turkey sandwiches that I put in
mm.
our bag. Turkey or peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, right? You have in your bag with a piece of fruit or even some vegetables. Because our problem is when we travel, we're tired, we're stressed. When we get tired and stressed, we crave junk food. Yet if we're keeping
Every time.
ourselves, yeah, exactly. And it's hard, and our discipline goes down. So if we
Hmm.
have something healthy when you leave, right? So you have it in the airports with you. That's a key. Second, when you get to the place you're going, I will go to a grocery store and I
Mm.
either a grocery store or a Whole Foods and, get, I mean, they have the salads, I get the nuts, I get fruit, some sort of some crackers or something if you need something like that. But it's more just a lot of protein, high fiber, and fruits and vegetables. And so I usually go to the
Wow.
grocery store, just get a few items I can keep with me, and always
Hmm.
have in my bag. I usually, if I'm thinking about it, I'll have some raw, cashews, walnuts, something like that. I'll have an apple. I always grab in the club. I love my apples or banana and then some carrots or something. So that's kind of and like a beef stick. So those are like my go-tos that I keep in my bag. So if I need something, I can grab it. So that's super, super critical. People always ask me because you're always told, okay, don't want to eat too late. Games are always later, but we also have to fuel ourselves. And so, my thing is it's really individualized. Like for me, I like to referee on an empty stomach, so I'm not eating close to the game. So if it's an evening game, I'll get my little, coffee in the morning, and then I'll have usually sometimes I get like the Jimmy John's turkey sandwich or something like that for lunch. It's heavier, it will
Okay.
last, and that lasts me till the end of the game. Then after the end of the game, I'll have, more of a salad with some chicken or meat of some sort. And then also another idea is you can get like a baked potato or sweet potato, throw it in your microwave in the hotel. Super easy,
Ah,
super simple. And also they
okay.
have those bags of veggies that are steam bags. Like if you get like broccoli or whatever, you can punch it, throw it in the microwave. So you can have your own little meal in your hotel room if you want and not have to worry about, a lot of places are closed when we get out of games. And so
Right.
those are some little keys that I do to just kind of keep myself from wanting to grab all the bad stuff, which I
Well,
do crave.
that was really good though. So you gave people a lot in just a short period of time. And the key component was you said, okay, these are things that I keep in my bag, all the time, which is great because we're in airports and we already
Hmm.
know there's all bad stuff in airports. They do,
Yeah.
but you can find decent stuff in airports now,
Yes.
which is nice,
Yes.
you know.
Yes.
But the other component that I really like what you said when you said I get into the city and I find me a Whole Foods. And what I've learned, this is so funny that you say that because even when we're doing camp season and I'm around all my referees, the first thing everybody does is when they get in, everybody goes, okay, where's the Whole Foods at? Because
Right. Right.
everyone, goes to the Whole Foods and get the nuts and get some fruit,
Right.
some popcorn, maybe to snack on,
Uh,
things that, don't have a lot of sugar, things
Right.
that we could, we need something to snack on after games. And I think when you said that, it just put a smile on my face because literally that's what officials that are trying to take care of their bodies,
Yeah.
that's what they do. They
Yeah.
don't, they know what they're putting in their bodies. Not saying that we don't
Mm.
have, we're obviously we're going to have fun. You want to eat
Right.
what you want, but it's
Right.
all of it's in moderation, you know.
Right.
And I think the older we get, for us officials that are a little more seasoned, I don't even want to
Mm.
say older, I say seasoned, we
Yes.
have to pay attention to those things.
Yes.
Things that when you're young, you're right, it didn't it doesn't matter, but it does, because eventually for all of us our body's going to break down. And it's
Right.
how do you handle the body when it's starting to break down? And you
Right.
just gave some great key, key components to helping with
Hmm.
that. So how about just give us a couple of quick things as far as, you prepared us for when we go out, we know what to do, we kind of know how to get our food when we're on the road. Now game is over. Do we stretch? We ice? What's a good program for officials to kind of get into?
Sure. Great question. And I'm gonna backtrack a tiny bit. In the locker room. So I mean
Okay.
everyone stretches, right? I mean, I see people
Mhm.
stretching, but if we're keeping it real, this is the keeping it real segment. It
Yes.
is it's not the best all the time in the locker room,
I
right? Do our little
don't
stretches.
disagree.
So it's so important to have a routine. I find that the gray area is bad for people. We have to have a specific plan of what we're doing, or it's easy to stray. So, and that can adjust and change throughout the year, but having a specific, this is what I do in the locker room. I have it broken down into, okay, 60 minutes. I get in the locker room. I usually get there 2 hours before because I like a little extra time. I,
Okay.
get the foam roller. I just kind of, chill for a little bit. Then I get the foam roller. And then at 45-minute mark, I'm starting a routine that will
Okay.
take me, down. So it's very specific. I've shared with people a little PDF thing, and it's a routine that helps stretch and activate the muscles to get ready to referee. So because it's very specific, I don't have to think about it. It's just
Love it.
something that is part of my routine, which is critical, right? If we're going in there and just like, all right, what should I do today? Okay, I'm gonna do a little hamstring stretch. I'm gonna roll in the foam roller. Okay, I'm gonna do my little squat things, and I'm ready to go. And the next
That
game,
was
what should
back
I
in the
do
day.
this time?
Right.
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 And so
Right.
having a specific plan is important. So before, super, super critical for that. Halftime you come
Hmm.
in, we're again tightening up. So, even doing those, leg swings that, you can do at the table when you go out,
Yes.
just doing something to get going again. And then after the game, I mean, it's funny because I hate being cold. And to your point, VP, you're talking about ice baths and stuff. I hate them, but I did some with Kim Hobbs actually got me to do one time, and I was dying
Ah.
in it. But
So
I
you got
felt and
into the whole
into
body.
the whole thing at a
Those are
lot, yeah,
hard. Yes.
and what
Those are hard.
motivated yeah, what motivated to do at first was it was a late game. I had to drive quite a long drive and then have an early game. So I'm like, I'm gonna be so stiff and everything. So okay, Kim, let's go. So we go in and do it, and it was miserable, but Kim makes it fun. So, but
Uh
I
huh.
felt amazing after that,
Oh
and
wow.
amazing, was able to just feel refreshed. And so I mean, sad to say, I don't do it as regular as I should, um
Hmm.
but I'm focusing on doing that this year. So if you're able to, some gyms allow you to go in the ice bath. That's perfect because it's right afterward.
Hmm.
If not, grab some ice bags, to put on the car on your
Hmm.
drive. We usually have
Yep.
a lot of drives. um
That we see a lot. We're walking out with our bags wrapped around our legs, which is nice.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's helpful. And then, sometimes, be honest, we're out of the locker room quick. So if you don't have time to stretch in the locker room, then at least when you get to your hotel, even just a 5 minute, 5 to 10 minute little routine, doing like 4 little stretches before bed is huge. Is huge, is huge,
Okay.
is huge. If you're doing ones that involve, and you want to focus on hip mobility stuff. And that's
Hmm.
huge. Doing it. And then honestly, the best case is when you get out of bed, take 3 to 5 minutes is all. Do a couple exercises to get your body going for that. Because, as we get out of bed, we're grabbing our backs, we're, hobbling over to the bathroom, but being able to just
Right.
spend 3 to 5 minutes, it's not a lot of time, but it will save your body and save you, for through the season.
Awesome. I love it. I love it. Well, you know what? How about this? I sometimes I have to say to myself, man, I wish I would have started taking care, not to say that I didn't take care of my body, but you know what I
Hmm.
mean, being a little more specific, making sure that I do those little things right. When I was young, I didn't, because when people ask me, they go, what would you have changed, you know, now versus then? And
Right.
I can honestly say then I should have, when my body was feeling great, I should have taken care of it a little better. And I love
Right.
that for you, you keep it simple, no different than, like the meal plans that you have given me have, I can honestly say my chicken tortilla soup is that is the best recipe you have ever given me. I
I'm
love it.
glad
And
you still
and
like
I'm not a cook, to be honest with you, but I cook that in that crock pot, and I tell you, my wife, we love it. So I have to say
awesome.
thank you, but it's keeping it simple, which is really, really, a good thing. And for you, you do that. It's never something really hard. It's something you can do, you know, in your
Right.
room, in the locker room. You can do it in the airport. You have
Right.
things that are very specific, but you can do them anywhere. And I think
Yeah.
that's the key component. And you kind of have to tailor things around different people, because what works for
Yes.
me may not work for you. And I don't think a lot of people realize that. And for
Right.
you, you always come up with a program that's individualized, that's going to help Violet Palmer, that's going to
Right.
keep me fit. Even
Right.
with that, I don't have to go out and run anymore, but I still want to eat well. I still want to do
Right.
my strength training.
Mm-hmm.
I still want to do my
Mm-hmm.
elliptical. I want to ride my Peloton. I want to go out and walk my neighborhood. I'm just going to do things for me that I know is going to keep me physically where I need to be. Because, my
Mm-hmm.
goal personally, Jules, and I'll tell you, I cannot be in front of the room not looking the way that I'm supposed to.
Right.
And that could be vanity. I'll take it. I don't know.
Hey, it's a
But
good thing.
it's a no, it's a great thing, because again, that's really, really important, because if I'm going to tell you and tell our officials that they have to be physically fit and they have to take care of themselves and they got to do all this work, how am I going to be in front of the room and not do it myself?
You're
It
right. You
does.
gotta you gotta walk the walk, talk the talk.
I'm an
And you
example,
do.
and
And you do.
I
And
can, well,
yeah,
thank
you've
you. And I can
always
say
been
that you've
independent.
always helped me.
You
Yeah,
have.
you've
And I
always
think
been
we have.
there.
Well, thank you. And I think it's, just some takeaways is we have to be realistic and know that we're not going to be on 100%. We're going to have ups and downs. I just went on vacation. I'm going to have some ice cream. I'm going to, chill a little bit.
Oh,
But the key is getting right back on track when we need to. That's what I find is a problem. And as soon as someone goes off track for a minute, they're like, okay, I'm going to just let it go for months, right? So
right.
getting back on track, adding the variety to your routines, the different modalities, and adjusting your
That's good.
expectations that our bodies are, different. And as you said, everyone is individualized in, what we need, what we do. And you got to listen to our bodies. Our bodies are so good at telling us what we need. We just have to listen to
Wow.
them.
Wow. See, look at that. That right there was enough for anybody. It was it was perfect. And you really make me feel good when you say, because we get into those routines of working and eating, trying to eat right. But it is okay to get off track. Like if you're going on vacation, you're going on a
Yes.
staycay. You need that break, and I could say it
Yes.
was so funny. Tell you, we were in Portugal, in Lisbon, and we probably had gelato, every other day, because
Right.
and I'm not even an ice cream lover, but I love, for some reason I do love their gelato, and
Yeah.
it's like just the best. But like you said, that's okay, because when you come home, the important thing is to get back into your routine, because that little bitty time off is not going to hurt you. Everybody needs
No,
a break.
absolutely.
It's okay. That part's okay.
Absolutely.
It's the jumping back in, getting into your
Right.
routine, handling your business, and doing those
Right.
little bitty small things to take care of your body. So, with you, what's so great, I think our entire staff, you probably get all kind of calls from different people to help me with this, as well as your clients that are outside of the whole officiating realm. But
Hmm.
you know, what I love is that you do keep it simple. It's not complicated, it's not difficult, and it is tailored to each individual person. what I'm doing can be different from what Chancey's doing, or from what Tanya's doing, or from what Benny is doing. We're not the same because our bodies are different, and
Right.
that's really a key component as far as you're concerned. But you're incredible. You're an incredible referee. You're an incredible leader. But I think this other passion that you have brought into what we do, um, you have helped so many of our officials just take care of themselves and feel good about themselves. Because again, if you don't feel good, you're not going to referee good. If your
Right.
body's, if your body's not where it needs to be, you're going to have problems, because it's tough
Right.
being on a court when you're injured. That's not a good
Yep.
feeling, and I
Mm,
know. And that's why I tell referees, look, if you're hurting, if something mentally is bothering you, call me. We can move you. It's no problem.
yeah.
Versus going out there, because all you're going to do is injure yourself more. You're going to overcompensate and don't even
Right.
really, you don't even know what you're overcompensating, but you're overcompensating because this hurts. So you start
Right.
running differently. You start walking
Yep.
differently. You start turning, trying not
Yep.
to put so much pressure on the right side versus you're
Yep.
putting all the pressure on the left side. So you're still not helping
Yep.
yourself.
Yeah.
But I just want to say thank you. I appreciate you. I appreciate what you do. I appreciate who you are. And you're always willing to just give us those little bitty nuggets, keeping it simple to make sure that we keep our bodies right to go out and do our jobs. And I just want to say I love you to death, and I thank you so much.
Thank you, VP. I appreciate that.
This is our fun segment. This is the play of the play segment. And, I got my girl, Julie Kromenhoek, here with me. She sent me this great play. So her and we're going to jump right into it and have a discussion, and just kind of give you guys some nuggets on, how we can get this play right. So Julie, set it up for us.
Okay, so going into this game, we knew the post play was going to be a focus. We talked about that in our pregame. Have great partners, good veteran partners
Mm-hmm.
as well. And so
Mm-hmm.
this is a play that it's a trail play. We're going to be able to talk about coverage, and also a great thing to get into too, VP, I hear a lot about is when do we go get a play that is out of our primary and with what
Right.
cadence?
Beautiful.
Those are great.
Okay.
All right, so if you stop right there a minute. So one thing first that I have learned over the years, and VP has taught me this too, as trail, I find that when we come up the court, we're in our great position, but then we sometimes will take a break as we're coming over half court. And I have
Bingo.
learned to keep that energy up. And this play right here demonstrates that. And if I hadn't listened to the advice VP's given me over the years and incorporated that, I may have missed this one. So staying engaged is trail all the way up the court.
Gotcha.
So as you see, ball's passed into the post player, leads right there on the play. So
Well,
clearly
you know
as
what? Before
trail.
you go there, Jules,
Yeah,
can we talk about that lead real quick? Because again, we're
absolutely.
looking at your position. Great. You're off the sideline. You're, almost even with the 3-point line.
Mm-hmm.
You're on the floor, open look. Our center is in good position. But look how tight our
Mm-hmm.
lead is. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that's one of the problems we have in this particular play. You see how tight he is. And
Mm-hmm.
when we notice that when we get tight, what does it do? It shortens our vision. Again, when we're talking cadence, we're
Mm-hmm.
talking coming out of primary, and you gave more than enough time. Cadence was good, but clearly you go, there's no way I can't let this go.
Right. Right. So one thing when you think about right from a mechanic standpoint, when we're running down the court in transition, we have
Mm-hmm.
three different positions as the lead coming down, right? If the ball's coming
Mm-hmm.
down on this far side, we should be more wide, right? So the ball's
Right.
right here
Mirror the
coming down,
ball.
right? To your
Correct.
point, staying there. So he did go in a little too deep. So again, starting back from the fundamentals of where is your position as you're running down, is where's the ball, and that dictates my position as lead in transition. That makes
Yes.
sense.
And yes, you're 100% correct. But that's an area where, as a staff, we're not good with, because we all tend to want to go to that magnet spot of close
Mm,
down. See how they just
mm,
instantly walked right there.
mhm.
There was no need to even go there, but we
Right.
do for some reason, and I don't know why. It's just, and it's a constant discussion. We talk about it in camp. I
Mm,
talk about it with the staff, and looking at this play is something that we do, and it's hurting us because
mm,
we're putting ourselves in a stack. Because
right.
when you look at this play, this is a one-on-one matchup. Our center is out of it because she's straight lined. All she's doing,
Yep.
she's looking at the back of,
Mm-hmm.
I think that's 25
Mm-hmm.
gold. Uh, so the center can't help on this play at all. So, but if our
Mm-hmm.
lead had taken probably 2 steps out,
Mm-hmm.
possibly they wouldn't have been able to see the grab from the beginning. But in their position now, I go, they're just out of it. And thank God, with your experience, because you didn't stay up top. You instantly went to your next competitive matchup, which is right there in the lane.
Yeah, and I remember, looking, and obviously I see C doesn't have a look, and then when I look down, thinking, okay, lead's got to be on this play. When I look and I see their position, I see that they're not having the same angle. They're seeing right into the white player's jersey. They're not seeing that arm around based off of their position, which
Oh,
then
yeah,
through just, me not blowing this in the past, learning from those mistakes and saying, okay, this is a play that we need a whistle on, and I can come in with the cadence strong and get it, and we will be okay.
absolutely. Absolutely. And the other key component to this is what we have to think, especially in trail, having that, we always talk about the big picture mentality. We come up with all these adjectives. And, the good thing with this particular play is that uh, we have those adjectives, but you actually use the adjective because you did have the big picture mentality. You did leave, you went from having primary coverage on the play out above the arc, and instantly, as soon as the play was passed into the post, you went to that next area of responsibility, the play that could hurt you, and you were the only one that could come up with a whistle on this play. Because just think, we don't have a whistle on this play. We started the game, it's 4:59, the score is 5-5. We don't look like we're ready, Jules, if we
Right,
don't have a
right.
whistle on this play.
Yeah, yeah, we're coming out too lackadaisical for sure.
Correct, correct. And again, a lot of this may be experience, but I think for any one of our officials on our staff, if we're being fundamentally sound, if we're putting our eyes where our eyes need to be, because this is such an obvious play, anybody can get this play
Right, right.
at any
You know,
point in
we
time because it's obvious.
Yeah, yeah. And we talk a lot about, discipline as referees. Like we have we got the X's and O's. We know we're supposed to be on the floor, but are we doing that? And why aren't we? Like you said, that you talk about a lot at camp. I know when I'm being a clinician, it's a lot of things. I always have that written down about, okay, where's your lead position? And so then it
Hmm.
becomes a matter of, okay, you've got the fundamentals. Now you've got to work on your discipline, on
Hmm.
where you're going to be, and you talk a lot
Right.
about that with discipline, the eye discipline, and also the whistle discipline,
Correct.
and one thing I'd
Correct.
like you to talk about, just because I get a lot of questions from a lot of younger referees on when to go get plays and when not to, got a referee strong in primary, but then when is it okay to go get a play, and when do I not?
Right. Right. Well, I can tell you what. How about this? When a play is that obvious, you can get it from anywhere. As
There
long
you
as you're
go.
100% and you can see it. See, that's the key component because that's a save the crew play right there. So
Hmm.
again, it would be great if our lead would have, took 2 steps out toward the sideline and had a better look to be able to get the play. But if they couldn't get it, they couldn't get it. Center totally blocked out.
Right.
Great thing was you're in the trail. You didn't, you wasn't lackadaisical. You didn't think you were too far away. And that's another problem. We put all these things in our head like, oh, I'm too far. They're not going to believe me. That play is so obvious. We miss it, we really look bad. So you got to kind of take that part out of our whole thinking. We have to be able. to have the courage, to have the intestinal fortitude to say, you know what, 100% get the play, and it's going to make the crew look good. Because, like I said, in this game, this play was early. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter that it's early, that it's in the middle, or that it's late. It's
Right.
obvious, and it's not a play that we want to miss. And then,
Right.
no different than in this play, it wouldn't matter if this is her first foul or this is her
Mm-hmm.
fifth foul. The
Mm-hmm.
play is the play. All right, everybody, this is our final horn. We're going to wrap it up. I just want to thank Julie, Ms. Kromenhoek, for being here. It was awesome. She gave us some great points on how we can take care of our bodies before the game, after the game, even a little shopping tip, which is awesome. Doing our work to make sure that we keep our bodies physically fit, because obviously, as Julie and I discussed, if your body's not working, you're not going to be able to work. So a little bit of homework going forward. I ask you guys to watch, share, and subscribe. It would be great. So much wonderful information, and we look forward to our next episode of The Play is the Play. All right, peace out, everybody.